you guys. So for this video, if you didn't watch my other video, go watch it. I basically said I was about to make this video, so yeah, I did it. Okay, I did it. All right, so in this video, I'm basically going to explain how I study for pharmacology. So like I said in my other video, I got a 98 on my pharmacology exam. And I'm just letting you guys know this isn't like I'm not like an expert on pharmacology. I'm not like in my last year of nursing school or anything. So I'm not saying like I'm an expert on the subject. I'm just showing what I did that got me an A on my pharmacology exam. Okay. So first, so the way my exam is set up is we learn different classes of drugs. So we'll probably do, okay, so for our last exam, we had about 7 different classes of drugs. We did, I can't remember my last exam, so I'm just gonna talk about this exam that I'm studying for right now, okay? So for this exam, we have anti-neoplastic drugs, immune modulators. We're doing, sorry, I gotta look because it's a lot. We're doing anti-epileptics, we're doing antidepressants, anti-Parkinsonism, psychotherapeutic, and anti-inflammatory. So those are all the different drugs. Okay, so what I do is I use note cards. This is what helps me 100%. I cannot stress this enough. This is the way you want to go, okay? Note cards. Because when you have all these different classes of drugs, all these different types of drugs, like you don't want to have it all listed on like lined paper, because then it all gets jumbled in together. You don't know what's what, what's separated, what's what. Note cards helps you separate each drug from one another, you know what I mean? So, and I don't buy the little 3 by, what are those, 3 by 5? I buy these are, don't have me lying, 5 by 8. These are like the jumbo note cards. And that reason being is because sometimes you have to put a lot of stuff on your note card, and if you have those little 3 by 5 note cards, it's all going to be mushed together, and that's not helping you either. So I use the big one so that even if it's a lot of information, I still have it enough room to have everything separated. So let's see, where should I start off with? Okay, so first what I do is I take the class of drug by itself, and that's gonna be its own note card. So this right here, for example, psychotherapeutics. And I try to do it all cute, you know, so look all cute. Okay, so what I have on this drug, so like each drug class has its own. So like I have anti-inflammatory has its own card. Immune modulators has its own card. And then behind those cards are the different drugs that fall under that class, if that makes sense. So when I have this card, it says psychotherapeutic. On this card, I have everything that is in common with all psychotherapeutic drugs. No matter what the drug is, you will find that in certain classes of drugs that there are some adverse effects, contraindications, nursing implications. There are some things that are the same with all those drugs. So instead of writing that over and over and over and over again, I condense it to one card. So I know when I'm talking about a psychotherapeutic, it's gonna have this. So that's what helped me memorize that. So yeah, I have the different drugs that fall under psychotherapeutics, but they all are going to have these in common. So on the back of this, there's psychotherapeutics. This, I have adverse effects. These are adverse effects that are going to fall under every single psychotherapeutic drug is going to have this. You're going to have CNS, depression, anticholinergic effects. For your nursing intervention, you're going to watch for EPS symptoms. You're going to want to take safety measures due to the decreased CNS. So that's how I do that. So this card is like for every psychotherapeutic, this is what they have in common. So behind the psychotherapeutics, I have individual type drugs. So for this, schizophrenia, And everybody's teacher is going to be different. Like your teacher's going to want you to know like different drugs. So the drug that I have on each card is what my teacher wants me to know. So you want to do it based off of what you learn in class and what your teacher wants you to know. That way, you don't get like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, yeah, whatever your teacher wants you to know, make sure you focus on those drugs. These drugs that I have are just what my teacher wants me to focus on. Okay, so like this. So this drug. So I have this one, common drug. This is a typical antipsychotic. That's what it says on the front. So I put common drug, chlorpromazine, right? Then I have the action. It blocks dopamine receptors and it blocks the reticulating, the reticular activating system. Then adverse effects, increased QT interval, anticholinergic effects, EPS effects, and then I have what all of those are. Then for nursing implications, I have what you would do as a nurse, contraindications for dementia patients, and then I have like just little tidbit information like children metabolize this drug faster, adults metabolize it slower. And that is what's specific to this drug right here. Then this one, schizophrenia, common drug for used for schizophrenia, common drug, action, adverse effects, patient education. So I hope that makes sense. Like I'll have the main class, everything every drug has that's a psychotherapeutic, and then for the individual cards, I write what is individual about them that I need to know, like what separates them from all other psychotherapeutic drugs. And I just do that for every single class, and it saves you a lot of time when you do the class of drugs. Like this is what I have: immune modulators. All immune modulators either stimulate or suppress the immune system. All of them have bone pain, bone marrow suppression, may cause rash. All immune modulators are contraindicated in pregnancy. Nursing implication. These are all labs and things that you would need to monitor for all immune modulators. So like writing what is common with all that type of class and putting it on one card saves you so much time, instead of on every single immune modulator card writing suppresses immune system, stimulates immune system. You know that they all do this, so you don't have to keep writing it on every single card. So when I do like each individual card, like T and B cell suppressors, I write the common drugs for that. And this is what I need to know specifically about these T and B cell suppressors. And I already know that because it's an immune modulator, it also has these. So I do that for all my classes of drugs. I do that, I want to say I make my cards like probably 2 weeks before the test, sometimes a week and a half if I'm slacking. But the reason I do that is because I'll even write them before we go over it in class. So that way, I'll have them when she's talking about it in class. So like say we're talking about immune modulators in class, I already have my note cards. So when she's talking about cyclosporin, I can go to that note card, and as she's talking about it, I can make sure I have everything that's on there. And if she says something else, I will add it to my note card. You know what I mean? So, and it saves you a lot of stress by doing it ahead of time instead of waiting to the last minute, like waiting until my teacher's done lecturing, and then I have like 4 days to try to write the note cards and memorize them. That's just not realistic. So I try to make them like 2 weeks ahead of time, and I will start studying them no later than a week and a half before, because it's too much information. I will say that it is impossible to memorize it all, and not just memorize it, but be able to apply it, because when you take a nursing school exam, it's not going to ask you what are adverse effects of therapy. Well, actually, it might ask you that, but it could be more complex. But it's not just going to ask you this, what is this? What is this? What is this? You're going to have to take the information and apply it in order to answer the question correctly. So that's why I advise to study at least a week at the latest to memorize them, because you want to not only memorize them, but you want to know them so well that no matter what type of question that they're asking on your exam, you can answer it. Because no matter what way they word it, you know that chlorpromazine blocks dopamine receptors. You know that it blocks the reticular activating system. You know that it causes an increased QT interval. So you would want to watch a patient that is already having arrhythmias or cardiac problems, because this can exacerbate those things. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. So I study them over and over and over. So when I come to the library, let me show you guys behind me. When I come to the library, what I do is I'll take a card and I'll flip it on this side to where I can only see what kind of drug it is. Then I write it out, common drug, and then on the whiteboard, I just go in and I just write everything that I know about it. Everything that I can think of that pertains to this particular, like right here I have a particular drug. That's because I was doing schizophrenia, so I didn't write that on there. I just had the card schizophrenia, so I wrote the common drug right here, and then I just wrote everything that I knew about it off top from memory to see how well I knew it. And then once I'm done, once I be like, okay, I can't think of nothing else, I'll flip it over and I'll just compare and I just keep doing that over and over and over and over, because not only are you reading it, you're writing it, you're saying it, like you're touching all those different ways of learning depending on what kind of learner you are, you know? So that helps when I come. That's why I like to come to the library as well, like during that week of me studying, so I can do this. And you can do the same thing if you have like a whiteboard at home. Or another trick that I like to show people, if you don't have a whiteboard, you know, you can't afford it, or you just don't want to buy one like your girl, what I do is I just stick, right now I have actual paper here, but like these little sheet protectors, you can get like a pack for like 100 for like $1. So I'm pretty sure y'all got $1, okay? So what I do is I put a blank printer paper. I put a blank piece of printer paper, and boom, this is like its own whiteboard. Hold on, let me show you. Like dry erase marker and erase it, okay? It's like your own little whiteboard. So like I do that when I'm at home and I feel like doing the whiteboard thing, but I don't have a whiteboard. So I'll just put like a printer paper and I will just write everything I know about the drug and then compare it to my note card, and then I'll just keep doing that over and over and over. Or you can have like your friends, or you know, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, wife, whatever, and just have them, because that's what I have my boyfriend do. I'll just have him hold up the card like this, and even though half the time he can't, like he doesn't know if I'm like pronouncing it right, he'll just be like, like he gets the gist, you know what I mean? So like even if they're not like familiar with the medical terms, they can still help. They can know like if you said that or not. So I just have him hold up the card and I just say everything that I know, and he'll be like, or if I miss something, he'll be like, what do you give for this? And you know, that helps too. And then it makes it, and then also, like I said, the time consuming, nursing school can be so time consuming. So having your friends or your family quiz you, it's like also you're studying, but you're also like getting to spend time with them, you know? So it's like a 2 for 2, win for win. So yeah, that's basically how I study for pharmacology as far as the drugs go. And I got a 98, so I'm assuming it's working. So I take my next test, what's today? Today's Friday. So next Thursday, I take my next test. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I do just as good. And then we'll really know if this works, okay? But yeah, that's pretty much all that I do. So I really hope you guys like this video. If you want to see like more videos like how I study, because I also got an A on my health assessment exam, which is a really, I don't want to say it's a hard class, but it's a hard class. That's like the most critical thinking out of the 3 that I have so far, by far. And most of my class did not do that well, but I got a 94. And I have a lot of people that I send my personalized notes to that like the way I do my notes. So if you guys like this video, like how I study, or you want to see like other things that I do, like how I study, how I get ready, just anything, just let me know. So if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're new, you're not new, whatever, make sure you like this video. Go like all my other videos, and keep watching. All right, y'all, thanks for kicking it. Bye.